To that Josh and friend, can you hear me well? Okay. So I want to connect with you from Jerusalem, and I'm sitting in the conservative yeshiva where I just gave a meditation class. So I'm filled with these energies of quiet, which I'm so happy to be sharing with you now. And as Josh was welcoming us, I was kind of looking at you and your faces and your names, and it's really wonderful to see these different faces of really the divine. And it's practice to remember that. And it's an invitation of the Meorenaim for this upcoming Parashat Pinchas. But before we go into the short kind of learning around a very beautiful teaching of the Hasidic master, the Meorenaim, on this parasha, I want to invite us to settle, to really arrive, to make ourselves available for this moment. So wherever you are, if you are doing something at the same time, now is a good time to drop the phone, to put aside the other task, if there was any, to check that you're sitting in a way that feels very comfortable. That's all you need. It's for the body to be at ease, and staying with the spine straight if possible, just so that we don't fall asleep. We're starting with experience. We're starting with arriving. Maybe you want to start with 2 or 3 grounding breaths. So breathing in a little deeper. And breathing out a little deeper. And again, deeper breath in. Breathing out, allowing my body to settle a little more, to be a little heavier for now on the chair, the feet feeling the floor. I'm surrendering to the chair, to the floor. Feeling my hands where they are right now. Maybe a moment of gratitude for these feet who are resting in this moment and who carry me all day long, if I'm healthy enough. For my hands. And if I don't have hands, and I'm not kidding, looking at what I do have, just taking a moment to look at one thing I have in my body that serves me. And bring appreciation. It's a very simple practice of bringing appreciation for what there is. Really coming to heal the kind of negative bias tendency we have naturally. Kind of natural impulse of noticing what there isn't, what is lacking, what is dissatisfying. And this has its place. It's the mentaliyut sardutit, as we say in modern Hebrew, the survival mentality. So it's kind of built in our systems, kind of in our evolution. But then the whole path, the whole journey of spiritual practice is choosing to live differently. I'm trying to relax a little more. Can I trust this moment a little more? Can I trust life enough to really believe that now is enough? And cultivate appreciation and leaving the survival mentality and going into a mentality of shefa, of abundance. That there is enough for me and there is enough for you and there is enough for us. That I can make space in me for you and for us. So a moment of connection from within with our eyes closed. And if ever your eyes are not closed, I really want to invite you to try it on. It's really the door to entering deep into presence. Just like, when we want to do scuba diving and we want to see all the beautiful views under the sea. Well, we have to go in if we want to see. And so from this place, from my eyes closed, connecting with all the other neshamot, with all the other neshimot, connecting with all the other souls, and connecting with all the other breaths, breathing just like me in this moment. I want to invite us to take a deep breath in after this little quieting so that we can make space for our learning. And a beautiful breath out. I'm going to share my screen. And if you were feeling well, if you enjoyed having your eyes closed, please stay there. You don't have to look at the source sheet, you'll receive it. And the invitation is really to go deep in your meditation right now, in your practice. I want to share Torah from a Hasidic master I'm really living with this year, that I'm teaching every week, the Meor Einaim. And I always look at one aspect that I can bring here that is not an aspect that I saw in my class. Many times his commentaries, he has several commentaries on the same parasha. This is a small excerpt on Parashat Pinchas. And this excerpt doesn't talk so much about the parasha as he does sometimes. He really goes somewhere else and he takes one nikuda and then he really goes into like a deep teaching. So the nikuda from the parasha is this one. Yeshiv et chamati. Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen kind of returned, Yeshiv, Lashuv, turned my anger away, me'al bnei Israel. So it's interesting because if you read Yeshiv me'al, then it's to turn away. But if it's Yeshiv alone, it's returning, Lashuv, returning. And so he's going to go with this theme of returning and inviting us to return. And to return to what? To return to the invitation of the divine, which starts with a promise. The invitation of the divine starts with a promise. The promise is, V'shachanti betocham, and I will dwell within them. right? This very famous pasuk in the book of Shemot, V'asu li mikdash, and make a sacred space for me, make for me a sanctuary, and I shall dwell, and they shall make for me a sanctuary, and I shall dwell in their midst. So in their midst is the kind of pshat, simple level of reading, interpretation. But really betocham literally is within them. Right? This notion that when we create space, when we hold space, the divine presence, the Shekhinah comes. It's a very, very, very famous Torah. But I think just like the most famous things, it sometimes stays there hidden in plain sight. Does that make sense? But the most important, obvious things, sometimes we forget to just actually do them, to make space for it. And here he's quoting another passage from somewhere else in the Tehillim. So, Ohel Shechan Be'adam, that he put his tent to dwell within the human being. And that the presence of the divine is inside their hearts, right? Mamash bekerev libehem. And so this is the pasuk, this is the verse I want to focus on. Everyone's heart must be a dwelling place for our blessed Creator. So the Meor Einayim moves from the promise or the description to the mitzvah, the commandment. What is your responsibility? What is your responsibility? שצריך כל אחד להיות ליבו משכן לבורא יתברך. And from here, he goes into a whole development of this is how we can be united as one. And this is through returning ourselves that also the divine can turn away his anger when we are preparing ourselves in our hearts. So this is the meditation I want to invite us to do today. Just checking there is any, okay. The soul sheet, I'm going to stop sharing, and you'll have the soul sheet and you're welcome to read it later at your own pace. And for now, we will just follow the invitation to really prepare our hearts. I want to read again, like, שצריך כל אחד להיות ליבו משכן. That my heart needs to be a mishkan. It's not even that I need to do a mishkan, it's my heart needs to be. My heart needs to be this place by itself. And I think, so often in spiritual practice, we think we need to build, we need to do, we need to achieve, we need to get to that space. Whereas the beautiful paradox is that actually the Mishkan is already here. The open heart is already here. It's just me who put walls and added doors which I closed. So it's not so much about creating a Mishkan as in removing the obstacles and seeing, like what in Zen they call a step back. It's not so much about adding something. It's not so much about cumulative kind of wisdom. It's about hitpashtut, really to undress, really remove the layers, the klipot, and make space for this already here, open space. To allow the flow, turning and returning. So let's sit with that, friends, with really nothing to do but recognize that the Mishkan is already here. And that we need to remember to come back home to this place. We need to embody it. We need to open our heart. We need to open space. Each of us and all of us as one. And if you'd like, you can sit with your hand on your heart. Maybe another hand on the belly if you'd like. And if the hand is on the heart, maybe your anchor for this meditation can be your heartbeat. Really following the sweet movement of this aliveness in me. Or maybe it can be your breath. You choose your anchor. Just a physical sensation to stay grounded as you see your thoughts come up, arise and pass. So let's sit quietly, friends, for a little under 10 minutes. And ourselves really coming back, Lashuv, od ve'od, coming back again and again and again to presence, to this open Mishkan, open heart already here. And if you notice that you were completely somewhere else in your thoughts right now, well, that is great. The realizing is the practice. Just gently coming back with the joy of Lashuv, of returning to this Mishkan that is already here. opening up to the possibility of seeing underneath all the layers of inner noise and memories and images and chatter, the space of this heart, this mishkan, the dwelling presence of the Shekhinah already there. So precious. And for the last minute of this seat, connecting to the unity of our hearts together as one big heart, opening a path to the divine. This is the teaching of the Me'oranayim. This really notion of togetherness, of Am Yisrael. So not just my heart, an open space, but our hearts together. Making the possibility of blessing a reality. So it's the moment to set an intention, maybe today, to feel connection with others at different moments of our day. And let's take a beautiful breath in and out. Thank you for your beautiful practice. And let's get ready to say Kaddish with Rabbi Josh.
Thank you, Mira. I invite you to stick around shortly for a conversation with Mira, reflecting on our practice together. If you need to leave us now, Tzedchem Shalom, farewell. We'll look forward to seeing you again, not tomorrow. We're off for July 4th, but back on Wednesday. And Mark Margolius is on vacation, by the way, so I'll see you on Wednesday. And if you are saying Kaddish, I welcome you in the chat to share the name of anyone that you are holding in mind or heart today as you say Kaddish, and we'll put the text up on the screen, and you're welcome to unmute yourself and join me. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Shmei
Yisrael
Rabbah
Amen.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei t'kudisha brichu la'ela min kol brachata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran da'amra v'yimru amen. Hey Shlama Rabbah min Shemayel Chaim Aleinu Amo Yisrael V'imru
Amen.
Shalom Bimrama Shalom Aleinu Amo Yisrael
Yoshvei Tebel V'Yakol B'nei Yishmael.
Amen.
Okay.
Get rid of that. Boom.
Explode. All right. So thank you, everybody. And Mira, welcome you back onto the screen. And thank you so much, as always, for that beautiful teaching. And it's such a central teaching, I feel like, of the Me'orei Naim, you know, that the notion of creating the Mikdash. The Mikdash really is in our hearts. The Mishkan is in our hearts, the place where God dwells, not just a place outside, but internally. And I would definitely invite any questions in the chat, or any experiences that you had with the practice. Mira, I wonder for you, if you could just reflect on what is where does your own mind go, or where do you try to take it in order to try to go deeper into that sense of creating or experiencing a mishkan within your own heart? I wonder if there's specific places that you go with that.
I'm not sure I'm gonna start with answering exactly your question, and you can tell me after. What's coming to mind, I think it's so we have this pasuk, Vasu li mikdash v'shachanti betocham, so they shall make me a sanctuary and I shall dwell among them. And then the Me'orei is really like putting the kind of highlight on the heart, right? And this idea that it's in modern Hebrew, to pay attention, to be mindful, is lasim lev. So the heart, in a Jewish perspective, is not just the seat of emotion. It really is kind of a very central space in me, the site of awareness, basically. And the Me'orei talks a lot about that, right? Awareness, the capacity we have to be aware, and that this nikuda, this point of awareness inside, is the place where we meet the divine. And so for me, because I meditate, a lot every day, and it's very much my practice, I think what I like is remembering, Josh, that it can be a short path. It's a direct path. It's right here. And the more we sit, the faster we can go back home to this place. And I want to say this because I feel that meditation, like many things in life, on the one hand, it's a slow process, learning to be present, to quiet, to stop being agitated and dispersed. And on the other hand, and friends, this is a real promise from practice. It really is like the gym. The more you work the muscle, the more the muscle is strong. And what that means to me is that coming back home to that place, and I really feel it. It's like, I know it may sound mystical, and I think it's, sometimes I feel self-conscious when I say it, but it's true. I really do feel that there is this place, and this place is a space that is not filled with my ego, and my ego is always here, it's always here, but in moments of presence, I really can feel that this connection is like, there's this kind of like a straightforward connection here and here, horizontal and vertical. And one last thing I want to say about this is that sometimes we have this idea that we're very binary in a way, and very teleological, so goal-oriented. And so, we think, okay, so there is a before and an after, and before I was not enlightened and my heart was closed and I was egocentric, and after, when I meditate enough, I will be open forever and ever. And I no. And I want to offer like a metaphor, which I thought was so beautiful, by the poet Mark Nepo, who is also a meditation teacher. It's one word. It's blinking. So it's like our presence is constantly blinking. It's like open, closed, open, closed. Our capacity to decenter, to put the ego aside, comes and goes. It comes and goes, and I think it's important to remember it and to embrace the humanity of it. So I don't know if that answered your question.
It's beautiful. It's funny that the blinking, over Shabbat, I was reading the Derech HaMelech, the Piazetzner Rebbe, and his teaching on, was it on Chukat or Balak? I think it was on Balak. Anyway, and he talks exactly about blinking, actually.
Voila. Oh my God, I have to go
but really
look at it.
interesting. So you'll have to check it out. There's a number of comments have come in, questions, and there was a question here, especially from Susan, about aliveness, right?
Yeah.
And I'm curious for you where that, how you trace that, the origins of that, if it's chiyut or what what is that? But yeah, so in your teaching, where's that coming from?
Yeah, well, thank you, Suzanne. And it's funny, Josh, because I was just, it's the comment I saw, the question I saw was the same. And it's also even more funny because I almost mentioned that in the meditation. So it's actually, Rav Zeller's chant is coming from a commentary from the Meoranim, actually, from another parasha. I cannot remember which one. Either at the beginning of Bamidbar or in the book of Shemot, no, Mishane, where he says, so one of the ways to meet God, and that's what he says. I love it. Okay, God is ungraspable, unnameable, unseeable, yeah? Okay, so how can I access the divine? And he says, well, turn within and ask yourself a question, inquire, which is like, if you guys know a little bit of Japanese Zen, a koan, a question, like an enigma, which is not a question that calls for a simple answer. It's more something that's going to trigger a deep reflection that maybe is going to go beyond the rational, right? Who is this aliveness I am? Hello. Okay, chayani. Okay, I'm alive. That I can't deny. It's kind of the Descartes, but the Hasidic version of Descartes. It's not I think, therefore I am. It's I'm alive. I can feel my heart is beating. My breath is breathing. I'm alive. Okay, now, who is this? Who is this? You know that this is the starting point, like the inquiry in non-duality, in like just so many. Who is this? Who is this aliveness I am? Mi achayut sheli. Mi ze? Is it really me? Hello, abore itbarach. Oh, it's the divine. This is the Meoranim teaching. You want to meet God? Turn within, feel your aliveness. Well, that's God. And I want to invite us maybe to take a breath. I just want to tell them something because I'm in the conservative yeshiva. Slicha. Voila. If you want to do this with me right now, maybe close your eyes and take a moment to feel the aliveness. And the aliveness, one of the most kind of clear ways I can hear it is through my heartbeat, through my breath. And I can ask, is this me? Did I choose that? Did I make that? Did I make it happen? Right? There is something very impersonal in this breath and in this heartbeat. We all have the same, we all share it. And, in Bereshit, they tell us that the way the divine, brought the human being to life was through breathing into their nostrils, the nishmat chaim, the breath of life. And so basically every time I feel my breath, oh, that's the breath of life. That's the divine. There you go, the mystical encounter through the most ordinary. We're back to the sublime of the ordinary. So thank you, Suzanne, for your question.
Yeah, beautiful. There's also another question that Sherry asked here about balancing this sort of seeming this. Well, she's saying positive perspective, which it's certainly. But with the month of Tammuz, which I think, Sherry, you're alluding to, like a couple of days, we have of Shiva Sarva Tammuz, the 7th Tammuz sort of sets us on the course towards Tisha B'Av, and then so I'm wondering if you want to comment on that at all.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent question, and thank you, Sherry, for bringing Tammuz into the picture so that we get to have a full picture of what is now. What is now? I was reflecting on it. Why is it that we have Tisha B'Av and the 3 weeks in the heart of the light of the summer? And I thought today, maybe it's because when there is more light and more warmth and this kind of more life energy in the summer, maybe I have more strength to kind of accept, to open the gates of mourning and crying for destruction, And just like we have Shabbat Chazon, so that we can have vision before Tisha B'Av, we're giving ourselves kind of courage and vision and remembering the bigger picture. I think this is a reminder that no matter what is going on in my surface experience, if I'm going through on a historical level and a personal level, destruction, loss, abuse, fear, mourning, sadness, depression, no matter what's happening on the surface level of my experience, and when I'm saying surface, I'm not saying it's superficial, it's very real, right? But that's the surface of the world. Underneath, maybe in something that sometimes feels very hidden, very removed, and very out of reach, underneath it all, it's this open heart, this mishkan, and this light. And so I think it's actually very, very matim, right before the 17th of Tammuz, to connect to that. And also to remember that one of the reasons why it's so important to make our hearts a mishkan is because we don't have any more mishkan. And so just like the temple has gone into our homes and into our Shabbat tables, we have this responsibility, collective and individual, to hold the mishkan within.
Yeah. And I think also there's something to me. I was just writing my podcast. If those of you who are subscribers, if you're not, you can subscribe. But new episode comes next week. We had a little hiatus, but I was writing the script for Rosh Hashanah. We have to do them in advance.
Voila.
So and I was thinking a lot as I was doing that about the shofar being, holding, like what is the shofar ultimately, is holding both together, the wholeness and the brokenness, right? We have those both types of blasts. And I think there's something about what you're saying, Mira, as well, is like, these are both true. It's not like it's one or the other, right? Anytime that we are encountering brokenness or constriction, there's also expansiveness and wholeness at the same time, right? And so I think it's important as we move into this part of the calendar, right? We may put a little more emphasis or particular emphasis on experiencing, going deeper into some of the constriction. Yeah. But I think that the awareness that we always have is that it's all there, right? All of it is real. And even when we're most expansive, there's also constriction, right? That's the point of our breath, is like, it's a cycle, and it's all present all the time. So, yeah, I think it's really fitting that these go together. Okay. Yeah. There was one more question that I wanted to, I thought I saw that I saw here. Did I want to see it? No. Okay. Maybe not. I think we got.
And I love the comments. I love the comments we're seeing, right. The last comments. Yeah. That brokenness is part of the wholeness, and that meditation is being awake to the brokenness of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, again, like, I just want to reiterate that the wholeness is what is underneath the brokenness, and it's what helps us sustain and bear the brokenness and then move towards resilience.
Which is why, and it's why we surround the broken blast of the shofar with the whole blast, right? The tekiot surround the shvarim and the trua. So, we're already starting to think about the shofar. It's not too soon to start cooking for Rosh Hashanah. It is too soon. It's too soon. Don't start. Mira, thank you as always. It's so great to have you with us. We look forward to you being with us again. And everyone will be back here on Wednesday, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. And if you're celebrating Independence Day in the United States tomorrow, a happy Independence Day, happy July 4th. And thank you. We'll see you soon.